What is going on, my fellow fitness enthusiasts? You saw the title. I'm going to be helping you design your very own workout program. There's a lot to cover today, so let's just get straight into it and skip the formalities. If you're new to creating your own workout program, which you probably are because you're watching this video, it is probably best to at least base your program off of other existing programs. So some of these programs include upper lower, which is just upper body one day, lower body the next day, rinse and repeat. Push pull legs, probably the most famous split. You also have a bro split, which I did for a long time. A bro split is just focusing on one muscle group every day, and it's usually about 5 days. That would look like Monday, chest, Tuesday, arms, Wednesday, shoulders, Thursday, back, Friday, legs. It's pretty simple. It's a clean workout program. And then you also have another famous one is the Arnold split, which is what I am doing currently. I just started this split and I'm liking it so far. It is basically chest and back on one day, and then on the second day you have arms and shoulders, and then on the third day you have legs, and then you repeat that, and you do it 6 days a week. Any of these is fine. They're all great. They're all famous for a reason, because they work. But before you jump into making your program, I just have a small handful of things to consider. And then after that, I will do an example with you. This is my specialty, writing out workouts for people. And I can just teach you all my tricks that I use to get people their ideal workout split. So anyways, things to consider. The first thing you should consider is what equipment and machines do you have available to you. Most exercises can be substituted with something else. Number two, how much time do you want to spend at the gym? Some people have 45 minutes they can spend at the gym. Some people have upwards of 2 hours, which I don't think you should be working out for more than 2 hours. But ideally, based on your goals, you should be there for about an hour to an hour and a half. Following up on that, number three, how many days a week can you dedicate to the gym? Can you go 3 days a week? Can you go 4? Can you go all 7 days? And the reason you need to be aware of this is because, number four, are you going to have a consistent or a revolving workout schedule? So what do I mean by this? Are you going to have the same time slots every week to go to the gym? Are they going to be exactly the same, or do they change? Is your schedule at work consistent, or is it inconsistent? If you have a consistent schedule at work, you can say, okay, I'm going to go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. And I'm going to have the same workouts on those specific days every week. Maybe you have an inconsistent schedule. Maybe you get scheduled week by week. Maybe you don't know if you're going to be able to make it to the gym until that day. What you can do is label your workouts, 1, 2, 3, 4, however many you have. So if Monday you hit workout number 1, and Tuesday you want to go to the gym, but you find out you won't have time, that's okay. Because on Wednesday, you'll hit workout number 2. That way you're not skipping any workouts. You're making sure to actually get every workout every week. So that's another thing to consider. Number 5 is, where are you going to place your cardio? Normally, a lot of people don't think about this, but your cardio, if you're going to do cardio, it can affect how your workout goes. If your goal is to build muscle, you should place your cardio at the end of the workout. Doing your cardio first, while it can get the blood pumping and stuff, it's more likely to exhaust you and your muscles and drain you of your energy. So if your goal is to build muscle, Place your cardio at the end. If your goal is to lose weight, you can place your cardio at the beginning. It's going to be a lot easier for you because cardio sucks a lot more after an intense workout. So you can definitely place your cardio at the beginning of your workout if your goal is to lose weight. So number 6 of the things to consider, we only have one more after this. Number 6 is, what muscle groups are you trying to target? So why does that matter? That matters because, optimally speaking, getting 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week is going to build you the most muscle. Let's say you are trying to build your shoulders more. You want bigger shoulders, and you're already happy with your chest. What you can do is you can, to save time, because we can't be at the gym all day, you can dedicate more sets to your shoulders than you do to your chest. If you want your shoulders to grow, you can be on that higher end of sets per week of 15 to 20, and you can dedicate like 10 to 15 to your chest. It's pretty simple. Just think about like 2 or 3 muscle groups that you really want to focus on, or maybe even one. So our final thing to consider before we do a practice example is, are you training for strength or hypertrophy? If you don't know what hypertrophy is, it is specifically the growth of the muscle. Powerlifters' muscle fibers look a lot different than bodybuilders because they are built for strength. So the muscle fibers are tighter together. And bodybuilders, because they train for hypertrophy, their muscle fibers are more separated. That's what gives them that big, bulky look, even though they might not be able to lift as much as a powerlifter. Their muscles are still bigger. So are you training for strength or hypertrophy? If you are training for hypertrophy, you want to be in that 8 to 20 rep range, and you want to have about 1 to 2 minutes of rest. If you're newer to the gym, 1 minute is fine. If you're more intermediate, if you're more experienced in the gym, you can start leaning towards 2 minutes for heavier exercises. Huge compound movements, don't think you have to get up after 60 seconds in between squats. It's probably going to do more harm than good. For strength, if you just want to get strong, you would be training in the 4 to 12 rep range, and you can take a lot more time. You want to take about 1 to 3 minutes in between sets. For those huge compound movements like deadlifts, your bench press, your squats, you can take 3 minutes. You can chill out, get your heart rate down. It's gonna really help you with your strength. So with all that out of the way, let's do a example. I've written a lot of programs for people, and this is my specialty. So feel free to use this program that I'm gonna give as an example. I just wrote this out. It took me like 15 minutes, not even. It could be used as a real split if it appeals to you. Our example split is going to be a push-pull legs. And just for the sake of this example, we're going to say that we want to target our chest and legs. So we still have to free up time in our day, and that means we can't be at the gym all the time. We can be picky about where our sets get distributed to. Our first day is going to be push. We're going to start off with dumbbell bench press for 4 sets of 8 to 12. And then we have incline dumbbell bench press. That will also be 4 sets of 8 to 12. After that, we're going to move over to tricep rope pushdowns. That's going to be 5 sets of 10 to 18. Why not 8 to 12? Well, because the triceps are a much smaller muscle and they require a lot less energy to use, and they also recover in between sets a lot faster. So you can go for higher reps with these and still see a lot of growth. So after that, we're going to go, we gave our chest just a little bit of time to cool down. So we're going to go over to the pec deck machine, and we're going to do 4 sets of 10 to 15. I say 10 to 15 and not 8 to 12 because personally, pec deck is a lot easier than doing something like the bench press. And it is more of an isolation movement, meaning you are solely isolating the chest, focusing on the connection, the squeeze, the stretch, stuff like that. Also, you're halfway into your workout, so your chest is going to be a little bit exhausted. When you're pre-exhausted, it's good to go for higher reps rather than heavy weight. So then we have the dumbbell shoulder press. We are going to do 4 sets of 12 to 15. We're up in that higher rep range again because shoulders are much smaller than our chest. Again, they are just able to do higher reps. You get more out of it. So next we have calf raises for 4 sets of 15 to 20 reps. Why calf raises? Because this is push day. And we are focusing on our legs is one of our weak points that we want to focus on for this example. So the leg day is going to be fairly extensive. After your calf raises, you're going to do push-ups for 4 sets of 20. You can also just do until failure because you just had a long chest day and you might not be able to do 20 push-ups. It's okay. Just going to failure is great. Depending on how you do your push-ups, you can also count these as a tricep exercise. At the end of this example, we're going to tally all of our sets. So this is where you would do your cardio. 20 minutes is probably best. It's not too long and you get the most out of it. So next we move on to our pull day. And we're going to start with lat pull downs for 4 sets of 8 to 12. After this, we're going to go over to dumbbell lateral raises. Those are just like fly motion. That's going to be 4 sets of 15 to 20. Why is this on pull day? Because shoulders can be considered push or pull, depending on how you look at it. It's not the end of the world that a slight push motion is on pull day. And we just didn't have enough time on our push day because chest is one of our main focuses. So our next exercise is going to be rope face pulls. This targets mainly your rear delt. It's the smallest part of your shoulder. It can also be considered a back exercise. So we are going to do this for 3 sets of 10 to 16. Our next exercise is going to be dumbbell preacher curls. You are going to have 4 sets of 8 to 15. Why such a wide rep range? For me personally, when I do these, the drop off is intense. I will start off on my first set with easily 15 reps, and then by the last set, I'm struggling to get 8. This is just a personal preference. This might not be the case for you. You might be able to do heavy weight for 4 sets of 15 reps. Just an example. Our next exercise is going to be the straight bar pronated curls for 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. If you don't know what pronated means, there's 2 things. There's pronated and supinated. Pronated is when your palm is down. Supinated is when your palm is up. So an easy way to think about it is you have pronated, P, pronated. It kind of looks like a P. Pretend it's a P. Pronated, and then soup. You have soup in your hand. Soup. Supinated. Pronated, supinated. This can be useful on some exercises like supinated tricep extensions. When you go up to a cable and you have a handle and you pull down like this for your triceps, this would be supinated, a supinated position. So we are going to be doing pronated curls. It helps with your wrists and your brachialis. Our next and last exercise on our pull day split is going to be band assisted pull-ups. If you don't have bands, you might have a pull-up assisting machine. I just like to do these because I want to get better at pull-ups. So you're going to do 3 sets of failure. Great. On to our leg day. This is going to be a heavy day. There's not too many exercises, but legs sucks. So we're going to start off with barbell squats, or you can do, Smith bench squats. Doesn't matter. I think it's about the same thing. You're going to do 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. After that, you're going to go over to the leg press, and you're going to do 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps again. And then we're going to take a break from the squatting motions, and you're going to go over to the quad leg extension machine. For this, you're going to do 4 sets of 10 to 15 reps. I've found that I get better growth when I do slightly higher reps on the quad extensions. And when I go super heavy, it is easier for me to hurt myself. So that is the reason why we're going so high for reps. So after that, we're going to go over to the hamstring curl machine. You can either do this laying down or seated. And you are going to do 4 sets of 8 to 14 reps. Next, we are going to go back to squatting. You're going to do goblet squats. You're going to have 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. And then finally, you have your calf press. And you're going to do 6 sets of 15 to 20 reps. Calf press is different from calf raises. Calf raises are body weight, while the calf press is usually seated, and your legs are at a 90-degree angle. This is important because straight leg calf raises versus bent leg calf raises works 2 different parts of the calves. The straight leg tends to work the inside of the calf, while the seated, bent leg tends to work the visible outside of the calf. So now we're going to tally up all our sets, and let's just remember that our target was chest and legs. So for chest, we got 16 sets. Remember, 15 is optimal. Depends on your body and what your goals are. 10 is like the minimum that you want. So we got 16 for chest. We got 11 sets this week for shoulders. We got 17 sets for arms. And you might be asking, well, that's more than we got for chest. Well, that's because arms includes biceps and triceps. So we got 8.5 sets, really, on arms for triceps, and then 8.5 for biceps. So it's whatever. Then for back, we got 10 sets. And then for legs, we managed to get 20 sets. So your legs should be ginormous by the time you're done with the split. And then calves, I didn't count calves in the legs. Calves alone, we got 10 sets. So if you wanted to add those to your legs, you'd have 30 sets for legs, but I don't think it's worth doing. I don't think they're the same thing. I think they're kind of separate. It's like, why would you count wrists in your arm sets? Okay, so we have a handful of things to note. This stuff is all super important to pay attention to when you are writing your workout and or going through it. So, number 1, warm-up sets. Warm-up sets are important to prevent injury, and they are important to get your muscles going and the blood flowing. When should you do a warm-up set? Well, warm-up sets should be used at the beginning of your workout or the first time you are hitting a major muscle group that day. How many should you do? You should do about 1 to 2 warm-up sets. So on our first day, when we went and hit 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps on the dumbbell bench press, your first 2 sets should be warm-ups. How do you do a warm-up set? You do half the starting weight of your first working set. So you're realistically doing 6 sets on dumbbell bench. The first 2 are warm-ups, and then you get into what's called your working sets. your working sets, you are lifting the full amount of weight. Again, warm-up sets are super important to prevent injury, and they help you lift more weight during your working sets. Another thing to note when you are writing your workout plan is that you may have noticed that the most physically demanding exercises were at the beginning of the split for the day. That's because as you do your workout, your energy, your physical and mental energy, starts to go down. And it just goes, down, and that's just a fact of life. You want to work around that by putting the most exhausting, physically demanding exercises right at the beginning. So, one thing that is tough for beginners to figure out is their proximity to failure. What is that? So it is basically when you finish your set, how close were you to actually failing? Beginners, as it is, have trouble actually failing anyways. They think they can't do any more, but they could actually do like 5 to 7 more reps. It's just effort is a learned skill, and it just takes time, and that's okay. But figuring out your proximity to failure, we can actually measure this. It's called RIR, or reps in reserve. And when you finish a set and you have about, two reps left in the tank, that would be 2 RIR. There is this thing called RPE, which is not, we don't have to go into it today, but 2 RIR would be 8 RPE. It doesn't really matter. It's just another way of saying reps in reserve. So speaking of reps in reserve, we need to talk about failure. Failure in the gym has a totally different meaning than failure in the real world. Failure in the gym is good, especially when you are trying to build muscle. Unless you drop weight on your chest and you don't have a spotter and you have clips on the bar, then you're fucked. But failure in all other areas of the gym is ideal. When should you fail? Failing for me on the last set or two is very, very, very beneficial. It helps you get, a burn, it helps with growth, and it helps you progress the next week. What do you do when you fail? There are these things called myo reps or half reps. You can basically do the easier part of the motion for another few reps. It's not exactly cheat reps, but you're not doing a full range of motion either. These are also beneficial to going up in weight the next week. Okay, so let's talk about rest days. There's a lot of debate on how many rest days you should have. In the example we just did, you would actually have 4 rest days. This example would be used for somebody who really needs to cram all of their workout into 3 days. They have 3 days where they're free to go to the gym. That's okay, life happens. It's really not optimal for muscle growth. You want to have about 1 to 3 rest days per week. The more advanced you are, the less rest days you can take because your body is so used to recovery. And especially more advanced people tend to have the rest of the areas in their life covered, like sleep, nutrition, stress, all these things they have worked out, and so their body is able to recover at max speed. And we're talking about natural lifters here. I have no idea how many recovery days you would need if you are on gear. I don't know anything about that. I'm sorry. The longer you are doing this split, this new split that you're taking on, the longer you do it, the more your body will adapt, and the less rest days you will feel that you need. You will find yourself going up in weight still, and your body will start to recover quicker. This happens every time I start a new split. Speaking of rest days, fatigue management. So if you are having proper sleep, hydration, nutrition, stress management, and enough rest days, you should absolutely not be feeling fatigued. You've got to understand the difference between fatigue and tired and sore. Like it's not the same thing. Fatigue is like you literally wake up and all day you just feel heavy and exhausted and slow, and it's not something you should be feeling. And if it is, you need to fix one of those things. You need to be drinking more water, eating more food, getting more sleep, or maybe taking one more rest day. One trap that a lot of beginner lifters fall into is new exercises. Social media likes to push new on you all the time, right? You're going to see shorts saying, this is the exercise that makes my arms huge, and this is the chest exercise, why my chest is so freaking swole, right? And that's just so that they can get you for clicks. They're going to tell you that with about 1,000 different exercises over the course of a month. It's not true. They just want your views. But let's say you want to try a new exercise and you put it into your plan. Great. You have a new exercise to try out and work with. When you start a new exercise, you do not have a good connection with it. You do not have a good mind-muscle connection with what your muscle is trying to do, right? Your body doesn't know what the hell this weird new movement you're doing is. So it's going to feel weird and uncomfortable, and you're probably going to get really sore from it, and you're not going to lift a lot of weight with it. And that's okay. The longer you do an exercise, the more you're going to get attached to it. The more you're going to have a connection to it. One example is my girlfriend tried cable kickbacks, and for the first time she hated it. She did it for a month and just hated it. She said it just did not work for her. It actually didn't even get her sore. And she was doing it correctly. But after that month, she continued to do it, and she actually really likes them now. And she gets sore from them, and she sees growth from them. And it's just because her body had to figure out what was going on. So some of these things, they take time. And relating to this, the final thing to note, don't switch up your split. Don't do it. If you're gonna do it, just do it like once. Really, and it has to be for a really good reason. Because the minimum amount of times you should be changing up your split is about every 3 months. 3 months is about enough time for your body to actually get anything out of a split. Jeffrey Schofield mentions that he's been doing the same split for like 5 years, and it continues to work for him, and that's great. But another trap that people really fall into is they get bored. They get actually sick of the exercises. They go in week by week and they do the same exercises and they get sick of them. And it's hard because you have those social media influencers saying, oh, this exercise is great, try this new exercise, you're going to be friggin' huge. No, you're not. It's tempting. New is tempting. We like new. But trust me, just get through it. Get through your split, and you're going to be happy that you did. When you go and you make a split, and then every week you change something about it, it really hinders your gains. It really gets in front of your progress. I know from experience, because I was also influenced by these influencers, and they would show me these crazy exercises that I had to try. Ryan Hummingston showing me, this arm workout will get you 19-inch arms. This arm workout will make your arms so jacked. Like, what? Do this to make your arms bigger. Like, it was always something new every time. Every time this guy had a video, it was always like the arm exercise you're doing right now sucks. Do this instead. And it's like, dude, you just told me a week ago to do that arm exercise, and now you're telling me that it sucks. It's hard, it's confusing. Just stick with it. The reason I say 3 months is because at the 3 month mark, a lot of people start to plateau in their gains, and their weights, the weight doesn't go up anymore, and they just go into the gym and they're pushing as hard as they can, and they just can't go up. They just can't. And it's plateauing. It's okay. That's normal. That's when it's a good time to start a new split. You don't have to worry about doing a deload and a load phase, because when you start a new split, your body is naturally gonna do a load phase, because when you start all these new exercises, you're gonna be lifting a lot less weight. So that was all of my tips and tricks to writing your own workout plan or a plan for somebody else if you're a trainer. I've trained a handful of people, and I've wrote so many workout plans, it's not even funny. And I've been pretty successful with them, and I just wanted to share my knowledge with you. I feel like a lot of people get confused, and it's confusing when you have a thousand different things being thrown at you. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I would like to hear what you guys think. And I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.